So welcome as we continue our session on security awareness. Our next guest is from Cisco, so I thought it would be appropriate to be here in the Cisco Experience Center here on the Buffalo campus. And I'd like to ask our guest to introduce himself.
Hey, nice to meet you guys. My name is Nathan Riehl. I've been with Cisco for coming up on 4 years, been in cybersecurity for about 10, and have been supporting the Cisco XDR offering most recently.
So XDR is one of those terms that we hear a lot. EDR, XDR. How much of this is alphabet soup? What does all this stuff actually mean for us?
Yeah, that's a great question. And even if we look at the larger context of even the SIM space and the SOAR space, there's a lot of overlap here of things have kind of developed. So really kind of as we're thinking about this, what Cisco was looking at as we were embarking on this journey of XDR is there's a lot of tool sprawl. There's a lot of tools being developed, products being developed to fit a specific need. And how do we go through and make sure that really from the ground up, these tools are built to integrate, and our strategy is about being able to consume a level of data and visibility across the security stack to best support organizations that really are just trying to evolve to the times of cyber threats. So, when we're thinking about EDR, which is endpoint detection and response, NDR, which is network detection and response, those are two of the main foundations that we would look at, just as we're performing, security best practices, but that also expands to things like identity, which would be like Azure or Okta or Duo, things like email security with, anything operating in Office 365 or the stack of tools that would exist within email, but even things like web security, things like Umbrella, as an example, could deliver a ton of additional visibility in a situation where you're trying to maintain security posturing, and just how connectivity is working across your ecosystem. So taking as many of those tools, we've built a platform from the ground up that's really vendor agnostic, right? So obviously it works with Cisco, it works with third parties, but the objective is to pull as much telemetry into one place, make it as real time as possible, pour in a level of analytics on top of that, and then also give the ability to respond out of that same dashboard, right? Whether that's quarantining devices, blocking IP ranges, doing things on the identity or in the email space as well, giving you the power to really remediate a threat out of that same dashboard as well. And so that's really the evolution of where we've seen it come from, not just EDR, not just NDR, but a full vision of extended detection and response. And that's where the XDR narrative kind of really starts.
So you've mentioned, now Cisco is kind of interesting because you probably have got one of the most complete cybersecurity stacks out there, but you've also mentioned a couple of other vendors in this. Is this kind of like a new philosophy around, hey, we know that there's other people out there, let's work with them and provide intelligence on top of what they're already doing and not necessarily trying to just go in and replace everything?
Yeah, security is one of those interesting industries where at the end of the day, we're not really competing against our competitors. We're really competing against hackers, right? This is putting it in the context of, whether it's nation level or just individual people or just some of these hacking gangs and organizations, the idea that like we really should be working together to keep our customers safe. And that's really what our customers expect too, is how can we come together to provide an experience and a set of tools that integrate for the way that a customer needs. We, like you mentioned, we're one of the bigger vendors in this market, and with that, it gives us the ability to look a little bit at the bigger picture, and that's really the approach that we're trying to take. Not just with this tool set with XDR, but our entire security practice, and how we're thinking about integrations as well.
Speaking of that tool set, over the last couple of years, Cisco has made some big acquisitions to, give you new capabilities and some new spaces. Is that something you see continuing,
Yeah.
or is a lot of this going to be, hey, there is a best in class out there that everybody's using. We're going to make sure we work with them.
Yeah, great question. Whether it's trying to find ways and tools that help us integrate better into the identity stack or leveraging things like AI, we've made a handful of integrations in that space. But even, looking at the Splunk integration, you know, our commitment to our biggest acquisition as a company and how we're thinking about investing in this bigger approach. XDR is a big part of that. Splunk's going to open up a lot of resources to us in terms of visibility and how we're thinking about the future of this approach, but also give us a new set of places where we can talk about this holistic approach to security and how those things fit together. So we've really invested very heavily in this space, both from an acquisition standpoint to have really strong technology and from a human resources in terms of how we're investing in building it as well.
This is kind of a forum to reach out to our partners. What should their next step be if they're not a Cisco partner? If they are a Cisco partner, how do they get involved in this larger opportunity?
Yeah, obviously one of the other big acronyms is managed detection response. We have programs to help our partners develop a practice around delivering SOC as a service using the XDR platform. So that might be a place where a lot of the customers are interested in moving forward. That's a fairly new offering, but that is a place that we want to invest heavily within a partner ecosystem. Additionally, there's a lot of resources being developed very quickly from my team in terms of things that can be passed out to customers. So whether that's click-through demos or trials, there's a lot coming in the near future. Please be loud if there's anything that you would like to see, and we're more than happy to meet you guys where you're at and help support you.